7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Well, hello everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the RP Show. Episode 1794 of your favorite daytime sports talk show. Really big show today. Two sports talk legends joining me, Scruffy, in moments. And in hour two, Mike Richards joining us. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot to go over, a lot to discuss. I can just give you a roadmap right now if you want. Hour one, Canadian topics. Hour two, U.S. topics. They kind of morph in a beautiful way. But CFL, NFL, Blue Jays, the NHL Canadian team ranking from our friends at FanDuel, and college football. I got caught off guard yesterday in a podcast that I was on yesterday, or actually a radio show, I guess, WQVZ. I'll get into that later. Scruffy, how are you, sir? Salute.
I'm good. Yourself?
Good. I'm great. All I can think about is
ready
baseball.
for some baseball action tonight.
Yeah, it's really all I can think about is the playoff game tonight against the Saskatoon Berries, and we'll get to that a little later on. Time is limited here in this opening segment, as you know, Mitch. A lot of people have come here today to talk football and CFL. We are coming out of Week 10. We're looking ahead to Week 11. Here are the scores. Toronto over Calgary, 33-30. Way back on Thursday. Sask over Ottawa, 42-20 in Sask on Friday night. Montreal played with Edmonton 48-30 in the game of the week Saturday afternoon, and BC snuck past Hamilton 27-24 Saturday afternoon in the finale. I think you had all your picks right. What were your takeaways coming out of Week 10, Mitchell?
Two things. Roddy, you and I have been covering the CFL for a long time. I don't know if there's a worse team that we've ever seen than the Ottawa Red Blacks. My God, right? They're bad. And the Montreal Alouettes are without a doubt the best team in the CFL. Those are my two takeaways.
Okay. All right. My wires are crisscrossed here. But I was listening. Well, it's in my newsletter column, Monday Morning Goalie. Mitch, I said it looks like a Sask Montreal Grey Cup in Calgary in November, which I don't think anybody would have a problem with. And if they met today, guys, I said we would talk about power rankings today. I actually have Sask on top. Sounds like you have Montreal. Who wins a game between the two if they're meeting this week?
Today?
Yeah.
The Montreal Alouettes.
Yeah, they look good.
Oh, and, and again, take nothing away from the Riders. But, Roddy, they have to do something with that secondary. Because they're giving up way too many yards through the air. A lot of people have noticed that the zone coverage when you've got so many talented receiver groups, you got to start playing some man-to-man. You got to mix it up. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. But right now, to me, that's the Achilles heel of this Saskatchewan Roughriders team. When you look at offense and defense, and obviously the kicker's another story. But right now, that Saskatchewan Roughriders secondary needs to tighten up a lot for them to be successful. And you say a Montreal-Saskatchewan Grey Cup, I don't disagree. But if the Western Final is played at Commonwealth Stadium, we may have seen our Grey Cup preview last Saturday afternoon at McGill Stadium.
Yeah. Well, that was a disappointing game to me. My guy, Cody, a couple things I actually need to get off my chest here in the opening segment. The warm-up brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel. They have the CFL Fan Cruise, the ultimate fan cruise featuring Adam Bighill, Willie Jefferson, and Jake Seresna departing out of Fort Lauderdale February 20th. Prices from $18.99. Cruise only. Contact Neil Chargate, Uniglobe. Neil at uniglobecarefree.ca. A couple things. That game Saturday, I was all revved up for it, and it wasn't good. Montreal had their way with Edmonton, and after the game, Cody Fajardo said that. He is like, we're a good team, and they beat our ass in all three phases. Because that's a good team over there. So number one, what I need to get off my chest is people coming at me to troll me. You're a special kind of loser if you're thinking of me on a Saturday afternoon that you need to tweet at me because Cody Fajardo lost. Like, get a life. Number two, the people that have made a huge, big deal out of the fact that we took Friday and Monday off. Guys, stand down. Football teams have bye weeks. Some people take holidays. We take neither of which. Okay, so we had a couple of days off. Can you at least deal with what do you do when your football team takes a bye week, for God's sakes? So we had a couple of days that we needed for maintenance. Back off. Chill out. And I guess in the time we have left, we have 3 minutes in this segment. We'll come back on the CFL stuff. NFL training camps, Mitchell. Point two, what's grabbing you? What's grabbing you out of NFL training camps? Have you watched Hard Knocks with your Seahawks?
Yeah, I watched the first episode of Hard Knocks, and I liked it. I'm not usually a Hard Knocks guy, but obviously the Seahawks, there's a connection there. Right now, it's just sort of the guys are getting, some of the question marks. How is this guy going to fit in? What's this guy doing? What's that guy doing? We're going to get our first set of games this weekend. We've obviously had the Hall of Fame game, but everybody's going to be playing a game here right off the bat. So I think, the interest in the NFL is starting to ramp up. Obviously, people are starting to talk about their fantasy leagues, and I know you're not a fantasy guy, but there are so many out there that are, including myself. It's time to start now
to get to that have nothing to do with the quick six show top. Like the WNBA, get out of here. It's all over my timeline, and I'm almost at a point now where I feel like blocking or muting any account like it. I was told by the people Cunningham gets stroked across the face. Why? How is this? I'm like you. I'm getting more into because I'm getting that team. And I was just reading an article today about Stan Bowman. He actually did something that no other GM's been able to do, and that's get rid of Darnell Nurse. I thought that was going to be impossible. It's like there's a lot of changes for your Edmonton team, Scruffy, coming back this season. Like a lot. Change in goal. Darnell Nurse is gone. New coach. Like my mon Dieu, as we say en français. My God. For a team that's ranked number 1 in Canada, that's a lot of changes. So I'll tell you that the text line is open, 902-518-3033. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. RP Show continues right after this.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic more. There's something for every. The window is open to get your Greek.com.
Business owner. Okay, that's why we want Wellness Factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate fan.
Things I lobbed in your lap there. .3, Charles McAdoo led off the fifth inning with a home run as the Blue Jays held on for a 2-1 win of the Boston Red Sox on Monday. Jays 3.5 back of a playoff berth. Skipper John Schneider saying he's optimistic that they're going to make the playoffs. What else is he going to say? That's a poll question today for EMJ Marketing Elite Speakers Bureau. Will the Jays make the playoffs? My vote is no. I can imagine what yours is.
No, they're not going to make it. They've got too many teams that they've got to get past in the standings. I'm just bringing it up right now. You know, they're what, 4.5 back?
3.5 back.
3.5 back after last night.
Yes.
And what a bizarre game that was. But yeah, like I'm taking a look, like they've got to get past Baltimore, Cleveland, Detroit, and Minnesota. And they've got what, 50 games or so left? I just don't see them doing that. I just think there's too many teams ahead of them. And this is a Toronto team, Roddy, that really hasn't had a big winning streak this year. Have they won 5 in a row at any point this year?
No, not even close. No. And they're not going to make the playoffs. As somebody pointed out, because the fans are actually pretty smart on Twitter, frankly, I think sometimes they're smarter than the media. They're last place in the AL East. So, yeah, they're 3.5 out, but where are those other teams? They're still last place. Mitch just said it. There's a lot of teams they would have to leapfrog and get hot. Now, hey, God bless those that are watching the games. If they can cool off Boston, nobody else has been able to cool off Boston like that game last night, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. John writes in, he says, newsflash, Winnipeg Jets camp is less than a month away, and we still have Hellebuck. So just hang on. We have a million now. Now we've thrown everything on the table here, and that's sort of my fault. But the NHL FanDuel Canadian team ranking from FanDuel. I put this out, and everybody's talking about it. Carter Beck is just Carter Beck will be joining us. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Breaking news, Carter Beck of the Atlanta Braves will be on this show on Friday. There's a whole lot of shaking going on, Mitch. Canadian FanDuel rankings. 1, Edmonton. I didn't write it down. I got to go off memory. 1, Edmonton. 2, Montreal. 3, Toronto. 4, Ottawa. 5, Winnipeg. 6, Calgary. 7, Vancouver. You agree with those?
Nope. I do not. To me, the top Canadian team in the NHL right now, and I know when we've talked about this before, how do you not take the Edmonton Oilers when they have the top 2 forwards or 2 of the top 3 forwards in the NHL in the world? But I think the Montreal Canadiens are the best Canadian team in the NHL.
Oh, my God.
I think Edmonton is second. I'm not buying into Toronto. I'm sorry. I think that the Winnipeg Jets are going to rebound after a bad year last year. I think that Calgary or Vancouver and Calgary are 6-7. Ottawa's 5. Toronto's 4. Yeah.
No, I hate it
Stop
too.
doing that. You're how old?
I was. Listen, don't come at me.
Are we going to go to Shoppers tomorrow and take advantage of the seniors discount?
I was on my way. Well, number one, I was standing in front of the press box the other day, and I said 6-7, and Ogie Chumley, our DJ for the baseball, starts going like this. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I was running up the stairs the other day, and James Gallo, the public address announcer for the Millers, yells at me. He's like, "You're the oldest young guy I know." I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? Still have the stickers on my Miller cap. You know, the silver stickers, the shiny. I'm like, I've never taken those off. Are you supposed to take those off? I thought those are like tags on the mattresses. You don't take them off. It's a federal offense to take mattress
You're
tags
such
off.
a thug.
You're the oldest young guy I know. I'm like, okay, thank you. With all of this.
You're going to put that on a screen, on a ticker down at the bottom of the screen? Rod Pedersen, oldest young guy out there.
I'm not sure whether, I don't know if that's good or bad. Dick Clark was called America's oldest teenager. I thought that kind of made him like a loser. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure if I should take that as a compliment or not. Upstate Cardinal Ryan says Quintez Stiggers was taken off on a stretcher during a joint practice between the Jets and Buccaneers. Hope he'll be okay. Through all of what I'm going to lob this to you for a fun thing here. Told you I was on a radio show yesterday, WQVZ, with Richard Holdridge, who's actually coming on our show tomorrow. He's like, "Are you ready for college football? Who's going to be the dark horses? Who's going to be?" And I know, but I was like, "Oh my God!" I'm trying to stay on top of what I said off the top. In college football, I'm not sure I'm ready, Mitch. I didn't see the Big Blue. I didn't see them anywhere near the top 10. I'm sorry, Michigan. Michigan.
That?
I didn't. Your team.
No,
Michigan.
I don't think they're a top 10 team, but I think that they could, if they expand the playoffs, I think that Michigan could squeak in.
Which they're not. I mean, you're talking about after this year, right? This ain't the CFL.
Well,
they're not.
They're talking about it like still it could happen this year. And I'm like, can we make up our mind? Like, we're getting ready to start a season here.
Do you think they actually will?
With the money involved and the networks involved, it wouldn't surprise me, Rod.
Oh, it's like if you're going to do it, just go do it.
Right.
That's all I don't have a problem with it. I think it should go to 16. I personally think it should go to 16. I said to Richard Holdridge yesterday, we're going to look back one day and go, can you believe we ever only had a 4-team playoff?
Right.
Yeah, back in the day, there was only 4.
Had one of those. It was just like,
a committee.
This team's undefeated.
Yes.
They're playing at the Rose Bowl, and if they beat a Pac-10 team that had 3 losses, they're going to win the national championship. It's like you never ever played the number 1 and 2 team. Rarely.
Carlos in Indiana writes, and he says, there's one for Rod Stories. Oldest young guy. Vancouver Eric, RP show. Oldest young guy show. I don't know. Well, that's another one, Mitch. Richard says to me, and I meant to say this later, but he says on the radio, why do you think the Rod Pedersen show is so popular in West Central Georgia and Eastern Alabama? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea why it's popular anywhere, let alone there. You tell me.
I'm going to I'm pleading the fifth on this one.
Thanks, Dr. Fauci. Which all these things have happened since you were last on. While we're here, and by the way, everybody that showed up late, we've already talked CFL, we've talked NFL, we've talked NHL, we've talked Blue Jays already. Okay, Aaron Rodgers going off on Pat McAfee. What did you think? And what do you think of Kelly Rudy getting smoked by Sportsnet and allegedly replaced by Kevin Sawyer as Flames TV?
Well, does anything that Aaron Rodgers does anything surprise you with him? He doesn't.
No, shouldn't have been surprised.
Talking to. He really doesn't. And McAfee knew it. Here's the question I have. With ESPN doing the Super Bowl this year, how scared do you think they are of Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers possibly having a chance of being in the Super Bowl?
It's not going to happen, so I don't think they worry about it.
No, it's not going to, but you never know in these days. Did anybody have the Seattle Seahawks going 14-3 last year at this time? No. But you're
That's
right.
A good point.
I don't think Pittsburgh wins. What was it? Oh, Kelly Rudy.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously Sportsnet is changing things up, and they've decided that Kelly isn't part of the equation anymore, and he's been a guy that's been there for years. I understand the sentiment. Well, why isn't Ron McClain being gassed? Well, I can't answer that. Kelly's a good guy, and Kelly knows his hockey. We've seen that over the past many years. I think Kelly was better in the studio than he was doing Flames games, and that's not a shot at Kelly because he had some good stuff, but I just liked him more on the panel. I don't think Kelly Rudy will be out of work for very long if he wants to still work. He will be with TSN. He'll find a spot somewhere. He won't be out of work for long if he wants to work. And that's the big question because, Roddy, we all know that, Kelly has devoted his life to hockey. Kelly has some issues that he has well publicized. I don't think I'm digging any, putting any dirt on the grave when I say that. If Kelly wants to stay in hockey and an opportunity comes, he'll take it. But this might be the perfect time for Kelly to say, I've done what I did. and I'm ready to walk away.
Oh, yeah, yes, but you and I have both been let go, and he's been very upfront about the fact that he was let go. If he had said, I'm retiring, would anybody have looked twice? Absolutely not. But he wanted to make it very clear that he was let go. And it's kind of like Linda Cohn, who I have a lot of respect for Linda Cohn. She's cool as hell. And Ron Duguay knows her very well. He says she's the greatest. So if Duke says that, but she's like less than a week after announcing her retirement from ESPN, she fires up the Lyndon Cohn podcast, which I'm sure is great. But I'm like, you want to wait a month? You're not hiding the fact that you were fired by ESPN. So all I'm saying is there's a lot of people out of work and not a lot of jobs. From the audience, Rob from Las Vegas says no chance the Steelers make the Super Bowl. BW says I can see RP being on the air for another 40 years, becoming the streaming George Burns of sports and entertainment. Can you imagine? I can see it too. God, you devil. That's funny. George Burns. Look it up, kids. Utah Darren says Michigan will be much better. They have a stable, hard-nosed coach now with Kyle Whittingham. Carlos in Indiana says expand the college football player enough, and you might need to bitch bowl games unless you want them playing games well into February. Or he's saying ditch bowl. He said bitch bowl games. There's enough bitching as it is in college football. Producer Corey says, by the way, you broke Scruffy. Guys, you broke Scruffy. The George Burns. That's a first.
Burns.
Of all of these things, and we got a few moments before the break, 2 minutes right now, what was your takeaway from Seahawks and Hard Knocks? Because I watched the first episode too, and I can get my thoughts, but you're the guest. What did you think of it?
I liked it. It didn't really dig into a lot. The part I was interested in was Sam Darnold and was it Smith and Jigba? And one of them didn't get an invite to the wedding. And I just sort of laughed at that. But, and also was it the running backs coach with just the F-bombs flying at you? It was entertaining. Did I learn a lot from it? No, but it's entertaining, but that's what you want.
Well, that's why I'm not, it's spoiler alert. I don't find those types of shows like Quarterback on Netflix and this entertaining because I've lived it, and in a way you have too. Right, so I just find it entertaining. I don't find Corner Gas entertaining. I'm like, what's funny about an RCMP officer at the gas station in the little town? What's funny about that? I lived that. Like what's funny about Letterkenny or Shoresy? I lived that. I don't see the entertainment. So I get that for a lot of people it is.
What about WKRP, Rod?
That's stop. That was before I was in radio. Jennifer Marlowe.
Bailey Quarters.
No. Jennifer Marlowe explains a lot if you look at my marriage history.
Okay, that's fair.
We'll be coming back, Jason and Red here, with some thoughts on the Raiders training camp scuffle. So we got a lot to get to. And I need to go for a walk. So I'll be right back here on the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Dean, Brody, and the Reclaws teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work
You know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else. I can't help myself.
Two of Canada's biggest country acts. One stage, one unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour. Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at saskpix.ca.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek and Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Everybody back into the pool. 902-518-3033. Scruffy with us for just one more segment. Only I vowed I was hoping to talk sports. Ken in Mississauga says those back and forth lines with Scruffy about WKRP would be good dialogue in a stage play. Vancouver Eric says Crosby versus Cousins. That must have been a quick fight. Utah Darren says Cousins is establishing leadership, plus he's pissed at all the Fernando mania surrounding the Raiders. I don't know about that. When I read that story, I smiled. I thought, good. The Raiders are becoming like my second team as competitive fire. What did you think when you heard Max Crosby and Kirk Cousins had to be separated late Friday afternoon in a team drill?
Gee, a training camp fight? Shocking. I guess it's maybe two of, your star defensive end and your number one quarterback, but I think that just sort of shows you that these guys mean business. They're not screwing around this year. And for those that think that Kirk Cousins is jealous of Fernando Mendoza, I don't think that's the case. I just wonder, as the Raiders season goes along, when Fernando Mendoza will get his opportunity. And I heard somebody talking the other day about Fernando Mendoza maybe being the AFC Rookie of the Year. I wouldn't put a penny on Fernando Mendoza being the Rookie of the Year because he might not see a snap. Carson Beck could be the NFC Rookie of the Year, but Fernando Mendoza isn't going to be close to being the AFC Rookie of the Year.
Brent in the Bridge City says, the late, great Lonnie Anderson, rest in peace. She died? I'll tell you, she did. August 3rd, 2025. I guess you're aware of that. I'll tell you something about Burt Reynolds, by the way, who's from South Florida. I learned that from my Florida people. That guy mowed quite a swath back in the day. Go look at his dating history.
Gee,
Burt Reynolds. The chicks dug him, man. That says a lot about Trans Am. Chicks dig the Trans Am.
How about
Jason
the
in
Cannonball
Red?
Run? Arguably one of the greatest movies of the 80s.
Mary Lou Henner. 902-518-3033. Like, we're actually trying to talk sports today. But the other day, when our team, our Millers, were motorboating your Regina Red Sox here Tuesday, Mitch, the game got so long and so boring. I started going through famous people from the players' hometowns. Like Ben Wolochuk's from Wichita, Kansas. You know who the most famous person from Wichita, Kansas is? Pick one. Kirstie Alley or Don Johnson. My producer, Jenna, she didn't know any of the names. Richard Pryor from Peoria. Or, you know what I mean? The only one she knew was Bon Jovi from Middletown, New Jersey. What's wrong with you?
Who's from Middletown, New Jersey on your team?
Antonio Sansone. Not only is Bon Jovi from Middletown, New Jersey, so too is Connie Chung, Maury Povich, Brian Williams, the NBC Brian Williams. I'm like, what's in the water in Middletown, New Jersey?
Right? Wow.
We're not yet at getting at the picks. Oh, what's today? Tuesday? Oh, I guess we have to for Week 11 in the CFL. Are you prepared to make your picks?
Sure. This will probably be subject to change because I haven't really looked at it, but let's go.
The Canada's game of the week already, baby. The BC Lions at the Calgary Stampeders. Who do you like?
BC.
Wow. Mitch was 4 for 4 last week, by the way. I'll take the Stamps at home.
11-1 the last 3 weeks if you want to get technical.
The BC Lions?
Taking
There's
BC?
no way. In the head-to-head?
11-1 the last 3 weeks in games. I've picked. I've been.
I'm sorry. I thought you said the BC Lions are 11-1, and they're okay.
No.
Sorry, they cranked up the music here. It just blew my mind. Friday, the Toilet Bowl, Ottawa at Winnipeg in Princess Stadium.
If Caleros is back, you got to go with Winnipeg. And even then, even if Drew Brown was playing, you'd probably have to go with Winnipeg.
Okay,
Ottawa's
you're taking Winnipeg as I'm
later, but this won't be the week.
Saturday, in a rematch of the 1996 Grey Cup, Toronto versus Edmonton. Who do you like at Commonwealth Stadium?
I've got to go with Edmonton here because I just can't trust Chad Kelly with the football.
Okay. Well, it's clearly Edmonton for me, too. I picked him in Montreal, and they didn't even show up. And Sask at Hamilton, which is unfortunate. This should have been a big game, but Hamilton, Harrison Frost looked good. Did you watch any of the BC Hamilton game on Saturday?
I didn't see a lot of it, but what I did see, he did look very good.
Who do you like? Well, Sask's going to win this, obviously. I shouldn't pick for you, but
you can go ahead and say that if you want, but
you might
be incorrect.
Okay. Vancouver Eric writes in, he says 205-pound running back Burt Reynolds, Florida State University. Oh, I know. Listen, don't get me go. We'll talk about this when Mitch adjourns, but Burt Reynolds is an absolute icon in Florida. They love him. And he's not still alive either. Of all these things, you see they're talking about getting sports radio going again in Calgary. I'll talk with Mike Richards about this in an hour or two, but are you following any of that?
I heard about it yesterday, but I don't know what the plan is. I heard somebody say that all this means is that the Flames are going to the same station that the Stampeders are on, which I think is QR77. But I have no idea if there's what truth there is to that, or if somebody's going to try and do what Dustin Nielsen did in Edmonton and go from there.
They should.
Which I think
they should.
Good.
Or what Hustler's done in Winnipeg. Calgary Sports Talk would go off.
Yep.
For sure. Joe Lazzato is watching in Manhattan, New York. He says, imagine driving cross country with Rod and Scruffy. The destination wouldn't even matter. Love hearing you guys together. Pure entertainment. What's odd is we don't even get along. Imagine if we did.
I think you and DuPont would have a better series than you and I.
I don't know about that. It's just different. It's not better or worse. Oh, there's another one. How about Adam Schefter's credibility being called into question because he didn't report it all on the Kyle Shanahan
Well, I think
situation.
There's a lot of guys that should be called into question on that because they knew it and they hid the story. And I think there's something fishy about that too. Like as far as this all goes, like they're trying to make it look, and Kyle's taking some of the blame and stuff like that. But there's something fishy there, too. Because why wouldn't the 49ers just come out and say, hey, look, at our head coach? Instead, they had to try and sweep things under the carpet.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm like, what is it? What of it do you? All I know is Kyle Shanahan was in a car crash and it was his fault. Nobody was killed. Why is this such a big deal for everybody? Is it because that they covered it up and reported for 10 days?
People want to know, was Kyle Shanahan, what caused this accident? And Kyle Shanahan says he dropped his phone and he was reaching for his phone and he wasn't paying attention, or all of a sudden, and he, I guess what, T-boned this young lady or hit her head on because he drifted over? I don't know. But was Kyle Shanahan impaired? I think that's what people want to know, is what's the real reason behind this? Because
you may
there
never
seems
find
to be
out.
a lot of things like being, we don't want to talk about this. Well, why?
Well, somebody said Adam Schefter is nothing more than the part of the NFL PR machine. I'm like, you're just finding this out?
He's not the only one.
No, of course.
I'm like, get off in that category. I'd put Schefter in that category.
Anybody. Absolutely. And then the other thing, by the way, so what is it? Tony Romo, they say, is going to lose his job because he got a DUI in Indiana. So no big deal. Take him off the air. Greg Olson's in there, or J.J. Watt's in there, whatever. Is it because they don't want to lose Kyle Shanahan? Because he's such a great coach? Is that why? Is that why they're hiding it? I don't know. One thing I know about this, they don't want you looking under the carpet.
I don't know, but as I said, there's something that doesn't add up with this story. And at some point, somebody who doesn't give a rat's ass is going to figure it out and put it out there. And then we'll really see what happens. Then the spin machine's going to go into full cycle.
It's the story that just really won't go away. And it doesn't matter what the league is. These leagues would like to just look the other way. And I'm like, I don't need to cause a problem with them. As I've learned, they're watching, so that doesn't need to be me. As you say, somebody will do it. But you know what, Mitch? I'll wait until they do, because I'm not sure anybody will. If they want to get into an NFL game again or be accredited for Super Bowl. Anyways, okay. Scruffy, thanks.
Maybe see you tomorrow.
RP Show continues right after this.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Let's talk about these sponsors, and then I have a few things to say. When we talk hockey, it's for the Mad Greek Eatery. I was remiss in not mentioning that earlier when we were talking about the Canadian team ranking by FanDuel. Whether it's pizza, ribs, or authentic Greek favorites, it's good, it's good. Make it the Mad Greek Eatery tonight. Open until 11 p.m. Check out their menu at themadgreekeatery.com. And I'll try to get to a sports update, but if I don't, trust me, it's brought to you by the Ultimate Fan Zone. Shop Ultimate Fan Zone, your authentic MLB fan store for official jerseys, hats, T-shirts, hoodies, and more. Game day every day at UFZ. Breaking news, it's Monday. I had time in the break to go back and read my text. Monday, Carter Beck of the Atlanta Braves will be with us. How about that? Oh, yes, we have the great guests. That's not new. We have the best guests. Was saying earlier, so the reason I'm not going to get into the sports update is I can take you people and your comments all the way to the top of the hour with no problem at all. As I sit here and, well, I thought I was the Larry King of sports. Hello, Brendan in Regina. Hello. Apparently I'm going to be the George Burns of sports, of streaming, and that's fine too. But I was saying earlier that I don't really enjoy Quarterback on Netflix or Hard Knocks of Seahawks camp only because I lived it. I don't need to see the coaches' meetings in the big theater room, and I've been in all of those. It's for the same reason I don't find Corner Gas entertaining. I lived it. And producer Corey writes in, he says, in my view, Corner Gas is accurate. Sometimes uncomfortably so. Right. You made The Way We Grew Up into a comedy, which is totally fine. It's totally fine, but I don't need to watch it again. I lived it. That's all that I'm saying. So that same Brandon in Regina, hello, regarding the Kyle Shanahan thing, Shanahan spoke on it. Why does the insider need to dig up dirt? I guess that's the point, too. I guess I could just turn my phone off and ignore. What really upsets me about Twitter and to a certain degree Instagram now is these accounts are popping up that I don't follow. Do you know what I'm saying? There's guys and gals that I go to that I want to know what they have to say about the NFL, the CFL, the NHL, but there's a lot that pop up that I don't want to hear what they have to say. The fake news, they have no credibility, blah, 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 and it's that, why is that a thing now? I don't want to follow these people. Brendan makes a great point. Kyle Shanahan spoke about this, said it was his fault. Why won't they let it die? Welcome to 2026 in the media. Jason in Red Deer says, I heard the BC fans turning on the face of the league and chanting for the backup last game. I'm just passing it along. Vancouver Eric says, one small group of donkeys did the chant. Free ticket people. Well, that's the tough part about these guys are making more and more and more money. I don't care what the league is. It's to scale. Nathan Work's making more money than anybody has in the CFL in a long time. I watched the game. He doesn't look to me anywhere close like the best quarterback in the CFL. Not even close. But he's the highest paid in the CFL, so you're going to get that. You got to take it, unfortunately. And I'm happy for BC. I'll be honest with you. I look at a lot of some of the people we have on this show, a lot of the pundits. Like, for instance, I want my Miller Express to win tonight. That's the one thing with a play-by-play person. That's where these roles have all diverged, not come together. When it comes to the CFL, I don't really care who wins. I'm kind of getting a tinge of wanting the BC Lions to win because they treat me so well. And that includes going out there in a couple of weeks at their invite. Right? So I kind of want BC to win. It's affecting my picks. In the NHL, I don't care who wins. Like with my Millers, I do, because the further we go, the more money I make. I could get a ring out of this whole thing. Can you imagine? Going back to Florida with a big, shiny championship ring. What's that? Well, this is a baseball one, guys. Yeah, I want my team to win. So don't ask me for the picks in the WCBL because I want my team to win. I'm biased that way. But there's a lot of pundits on the air that are fans, and it's dangerous. You don't know who to listen to. Jason goes on to say, so many fake news, AI, and insider accounts nowadays, so annoying. Right. I'm just saying, I'd like to just read what the people have to say that I follow. End of story. From the text line. How about that? Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba says, hi, Rod and Scruffy. Great show. Riders get Milligan and Campbell back, plus 3 guys on offense. I'm sorry, I thought Campbell went to the 6th game. You're going to have to help me on that, and I think you all are starting to understand that I can't keep my mind on everything. Not the injury list for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. To be perfectly honest with you, I can't even name 5 of them. I couldn't name 5 of them last year. That's why I was caught off guard yesterday while on the radio in Columbus, Georgia, specifically where I was on the radio. What do you think about college football, Rod? I'm like, what do I think about it? I don't. Can I at least get through my baseball season first? But that guy, Richard Holdridge, is coming on this show tomorrow because I see you guys are coming on our show. I was on his show yesterday. It's always fun when we cross-promote like that. And, I mean, I got a rough idea of what's going on, but I'm like, oh, my God. I got to rely on you people for the injury lists of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And the WNBA, forget about it. I gave you the chance. You blew it. At the very least, they at least understand. We're sorry. They get why. They got enough of their own problems. Bob in Medicine Hat. He writes it. He says, good morning, Rod and Scruffy. Bob from Medicine Hat watching your show this morning. You guys have an awesome day. I apologize, Bob from Medicine Hat. He stopped in at Ross Wells Park in Moose Jaw last week to see me on his way to the Rider game, and I wasn't at the park yet. So all the staff took photos of Bob from Medicine Hat in his Rider jersey, but I wasn't at the park yet. But thank you, Bob, for doing that. Noni in Calgary writes in. She says, morning, Rod. Listening to you on my way back to Calgary. I went to the Saskatoon Berries game Sunday night where they defeated the Regina Red Sox. But wishing your Miller Express good luck tonight. As with their record, they should roll on to the finals. That's the thing. I love these new viewers. Some of you have known me, like you, Vancouver Eric, long before I was even doing this show. But I was sitting there thinking of lobbing out a little bit of trash talk just for fun. Because God knows 20 years ago I was the king of it. But I'm like, you know what? This series doesn't need any hype. I don't need to be putting any bulletin board material on the wall. If I was to trash talk, I know exactly what I would say, but I'm not going to say it. May the best team win. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Clayton Croker from 92.9 The Bowl in Saskatoon tweeted, this is the series, the Moose Jaw Miller Express versus the Saskatoon Berries, of the most legendary play-by-play guy versus the most handsome play-by-play guy. And I'm like, I don't know with whom you're referring. Either way, it's good. So thanks, Clayton. Me against Les Lazaruk, my brother from another mother, the voice of the Saskatoon Berries. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I do love Mondays and Tuesdays on the RP show. Love me some Rod and Scruffy talk. Kirk in Toronto writes in. He says, hey, Rod, if it wasn't for the tremendous performance of the Argonauts defense, holding VA to 150 yards passing because Chad Kelly was throwing to anyone wearing a blue or white uniform. I mean, come on, guys. I know you're probably the biggest Argo fan that I know. Do you get at this point that it's a team game, right? Maybe Chad Kelly didn't have his best game. I saw the quotes from him afterwards. He says, I'm always going to be aggressive. He threw another 4 interceptions, but they won. I see all these Blue Jays fans bitching today about the 16-minute delay in the replay last night about was it a double play or not. Guys, you won. For God's sakes. Same thing with you won. First home game back in over a year, and you want to bitch about how Chad Kelly played. You won. Saw the big, because I'll say it again, I'm keeping my eye on everything almost too much. But the Argos were promoting free food. But it wasn't free. It was only popcorn and crappy hot dogs. Oh, you wanted steak? Yeah, that's why I spent a lot of time sleeping. Scott in Vancouver writes in, he says, Mike Riley also got big dollars in BC, but he wasn't the best. Well, you pay the guys the big money, and you hope that they deliver. Not everybody does. BW from Edmonton writes in, and he says, I worked too much. Missed out on another goals season. Someday I will get to a game. So our guys on our team say that the Sylvan, for some of them, they say the Sylvan Lake Ballpark, Sylvan Lake, Alberta, is their favorite. I had a buddy, I'll wrap this up here because I won't talk a lot about it next hour. I had a buddy come up, Peanut Butter Pete, first ever Miller's baseball game, first time ever in Rosswell's Park, long-time friend of mine. We went for supper before the game. That's why I was late getting to the park. He sat with me in the press box, and he was stunned. I looked at him. I said, what are you so amazed by? He goes, this park. It's like a mini Fenway Park. You guys all work so well together, and you guys are so close. You guys are a family. And I'm like, I've only been saying that for 3 years, but thank you for finally noticing. Just the way we work like a Swiss watch in the press. Who's coming in for them? Number 28. Okay, where's he from? You know, it's from the concession to the souvenir store to beer gardens, everything else. Ballpark's packed. Everything's great. The vibe is unbelievable. And as Noni said, that's my point. I just don't want to get in the way. And that's why all I can think about today really is baseball and this game tonight, because we have statistically the best team in the league. So we should go all the way to the championship and win it based on stats. But as we all know, the game's not won by stats. So I'm actually really loving how many people are into this and are blowing up my phone. And yeah, and that's why a lot of you asking if I'll be in Saskatoon for game 2. I don't know yet, because all I'm thinking about is tonight. I might have a better idea tonight. May depend on how this game goes. And we'll be calling it on Flow College Baseball. But better yet, come to the ballpark. We've got room for you. We'll be back with Hour 2 and Mike Richards coming up after this.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Very big day in the RP Show because it's the next one. Happy to be here in this business. Happy to be anywhere. Welcoming viewers across Nevada and specifically Las Vegas on Silver State Sports. Hour 1 there and Hour 2 of the RP Show. Beaming across Canada on Game Plus, streaming podcast form, of course, and WQVZ Radio. Richard Holdridge from WQVZ Radio, host of the Sports Beat's going to be coming up Wednesday, but not today. Today it's Mike Richards, the iconic sports talk host. He is on the Mount Rushmore sports talk hosts in Canada, and he'll be joining us in segment 2 today to talk about all things sports. As a matter of fact, let's get down to business. Other than if I am a little distracted today, please understand that the playoffs have begun. We're actually already into round 2 of the baseball. I put my jacket on because it's a little cold here in the Golden Ticket Sports Center. See, I got my team shirt on. I'm probably going to be wearing this all day. Tonight, our Moose Jaw Miller Express home to the Saskatoon Berries in Game 1 of the Division Championship. And that's kind of where my mind is. But we're having fun talking sports today. The warm-up is brought to you by our friends at Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the official travel provider of the RP Show, and the CFL's BC Lions. We're opening up this hour with a National Football League and a training camp tour. And our viewers are already very engaged with what we're talking about today. Yeah, we had Friday and Monday off with this show because of, let's just say, scheduled maintenance, and people are making a really big deal about that. Guys, because it's all guys. Teams do take bye weeks, in football. Some people take holidays. Sometimes we need to take a day or two to fix and to deal with stuff. So thanks. We're back. Chill out. They're also really big into this news out of Vegas, which I know is a few days old, but Las Vegas quarterback Kirk Cousins and defensive end Max Crosby were suspended from team drills at practice Saturday following their fight the day before, giving rookie quarterback Fernando Mendoza his first opportunity in training camp to run the starting offense. Now, I understand in Vegas this is old news, but it is a national show here, and our viewers had a lot of interesting takes on this. And some of them are Raiders fans. We got Rob from Vegas writing in. Jason from Red Deer's a Raiders fan saying that Kirk Cousins is upset about Fernando Mendoza getting all the hype. I don't think that's a thing at all. The report that I saw, because I wasn't there, was simply that Kirk Cousins was upset. Let's just, like, the actual report I saw, I didn't believe. Number one, that Max Crosby tipped the pass of his that ended up in an interception. That's the report I saw from the Associated Press. I'm like, you actually believe Kirk Cousins would be mad that Max Crosby charged at him with his hands up like every defensive lineman is taught to do, and he tipped a pass? That's going to start a fight? No, I don't think so. But if you want to say that Max Crosby was a little too aggressive for Kirk Cousins' liking, I have some time for that. You understand, spaces to cover these NFL training camps are very limited, and it's a story that we don't have time for here. But I'm sitting there watching the NFL. They're spending a lot of time on Raiders training camp, which I appreciate, because I'm not switching teams from the Cowboys to the Las Vegas Raiders, but I'm adding the Raiders. The daily viewers know that. That's my stance on that. But every time, if Kirk Cousins was 12, I could see him being upset at the hype around Fernando Mendoza, because every time I turn on the NFL Network and they have their, what is it now? Inside training camp. Last week it was back together. They're always interviewing Fernando Mendoza. They're never interviewing Kirk Cousins, but he doesn't seem like the kind of guy, like, to me, that would be jumping in front of cameras and look at me. Some guys are. Some guys get upset, especially people a lot younger than Kirk Cousins. But I can't see that being a thing. So what's your take on that, everybody? Because that's mine. Max Crosby was a little too aggressive going against a veteran quarterback of Kirk Cousins' ilk. That I can see. I also wouldn't have a problem with that. And I don't think Clint Kubiak would necessarily either. I saw the quote from the head coach. You can't throw a punch in a game, so we can't allow it in practice either. Hence, these guys are being going to be sat down for a day, which, by the way, given both of their ages, they're probably okay with getting a day off. Their positions on the team are fine. Now, that's enough on those two. Mike Richards coming up, brought to you by Prairie Panels. He'll have hot takes on all of these things and more. The Dallas Cowboys and star defensive tackle Quinnen Williams agreed to a 3-year extension worth $105.9 million on Monday. The $35.3 million annual average is the second highest among defensive tackles. Cowboys acquired Quinnen Williams, as you recall, from the Jets at last year's trade deadline for a second-round pick in 2026, a 2027 first-rounder, and defensive tackle Mozzie Smith. Which, by the way, you know me, I don't want to be a negative Nelson at all about my Cowboys. Going back to that interview with Richard Holdridge yesterday, which you're going to really enjoy him on the program tomorrow when he guests with us, he brought up how great the Cowboys are going to be and all these names, and I'm just like, listen, Quinnen Williams came last year at the trade deadline to give us the push to get into the playoffs, and we still missed. The George Pickens, the CeeDee Lambs, the Dak Prescotts, they've been around for a long time, okay? And we haven't made the playoffs in 3 years. Look at me saying we. It does run deep. But I felt like I was telling Richard there was no Santa Claus. He got this look on his face like, you're not up on the Cowboys? I mean, I'm up on them. I'm not positive about them. I'd rather talk about the Raiders, which, to be honest, those are the three teams, coincidentally. I guess that's why that popped out to me as I was doing my script here. For the warm-up, brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the Miami Dolphins. These are the three teams that I follow the most. Cowboys, my childhood team, Las Vegas Raiders, where we air daily, and the Miami Dolphins, where I live. The Dolphins will have a new-look offense in 2026 under first-year coach Jeff Hafley, who says he won't be shy about giving the ball to Miami's best player. Hafley promised a heavy workload for Devon Achane during an interview Monday with the Rich Eisen Show. Achane has been with the Dolphins for 3 years now, and I still don't know how to say his name. To be honest, with Jalen Waddle gone now and Tyreek Hill gone now, he probably is the face of the Miami Dolphins. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Because as we talked about here last week with the USA Today preseason projections, the USA Today has the Dolphins predicted to win one game. Mon Dieu. But that's my God in French, just so you know. Reason I'm looking at my phone, I'll tell you why in a second. Point two is MLB. For now, we're the Blue Jays show. I don't really forecast that changing, but Charles McAdoo led off the fifth inning with a home run as the Toronto Blue Jays held on for a 2-1 win over the Boston Red Sox on Monday. Andres Jimenez tacked on a run with an RBI single in the sixth as Toronto leapfrogged the idle Seattle Mariners in the American League's wild card chase. The Blue Jays moved to 3.5 games back of a playoff berth with that victory. So this is what I'm looking up. We have the poll up on our Instagram page, which I invite you to go give us a follow. You'll enjoy the party that goes on there daily. The poll question for EMJ Marketing Elite Speakers Bureau is, will the Toronto Blue Jays make the playoffs? Their manager, John Schneider, said after the game last night he's optimistic they will. I would hope so. It's your job to do that. 60% of respondents of our EMJ Marketing poll saying no, the Blue Jays are not going to make the playoffs. But the Jays are again home to Boston tonight. And I will say this, though. I mean, God bless the Blue Jays diehards. A lot of my friends, especially with the Blue Jays going to Game 7 of the World Series last year, they're watching every game this year, and they still think there's a chance the Blue Jays are going to make the playoffs. I feel like saying, you understand that their team was like a body, a cadaver being ravaged for parts, or a flea market at the trade deadline. Dalton Varsho's with Houston now. Kevin Gausman's with the Cubs now. I don't think they got rid of all their best players. But let's not spoil it for them. By the way, the A's home to Tampa Bay. And you can catch it here on Silver State Sports. While we're at it and it's summer, 0.1 NFL, 0.2 MLB, 0.3 might as well do the Canadian Football League thing, huh? In hour one, when we were airing across Canada, and that was our sole Canadian topics, we talked about Week 10 in the Canadian Football League. My hour one co-host, Scruffy, went 4 for 4 on picks. And he'll have you know he's correctly picked 11 of his last 12. Brought to you by Pump Jacks. Pump Jacks Steakhouse and Saloon. Pump Jacks Cathedral. Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. I was 2 for 4 last week. He was 4 for 4. Here were your games. In Toronto, the Argonauts beat the Calgary Stampeders 33-30. On Friday, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, my former team of 20 years, beat the Ottawa Redblacks 42-20. Really wasn't even a game. Ottawa's 0-7. They would lose to a 12-and-under flag team. Saturday doubleheader, Canada's game of the week wasn't even a game. The Montreal Alouettes had their way with the Edmonton Elks 48-30 in Montreal. Cody Fajardo, the Nevada star, Wolfpack great, Hall of Famer. He said after the game, we're a good team, and they beat us in all three phases. We got work to do. Edmonton got spanked 48-30 by Montreal. And the BC Lions beating Hamilton 27-24 at BC Place. We do have a lot of fans of all those teams watching here right now, as a matter of fact. And I watched it, a lot of it. I heard people bitching about the crowd as we discerned or deduced near the end of hour one. People always going to bitch. They were handing out free food at the game in Toronto last week as a thank you to the fans. The fans bitched that the food wasn't good enough and the lineups were too long. Sometimes I feel like I just can't. And then in BC, people were bitching about the crowd. I'm like, I watched the game on TV. Looked like a pretty good crowd to me. And the team won. As my mom would say, quit your fuss-assing. Week 11, Canada's week. Yes, it's 1:11 Eastern. Thank you, Carlos and Indiana, and all those that observe. Live in the end, as the deep thinkers will tell you. Live in the end. Think about where you want to be at the end and live there. What do you got to lose? Canada's game of the week Thursday, BC Lions. The aforementioned BC Lions at the Calgary Stampeders. That's Canada's game of the week. Friday, Ottawa at Winnipeg in a game that should be brought to you by Mr. Plumber because that's the toilet bowl right there. Saturday doubleheader, Toronto at Edmonton in a rematch of the 1996 Grey Cup. And Sask at Hamilton in a rematch of the 1989 Grey Cup. We made the picks last hour with Scruffy. They're brought to you by Pump Jacks Steakhouse and Saloon. As I mentioned, Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Let me just pause for the cause for a second. That's going to sound bad, but Scott in Vancouver writes in and says, is it true that Bob McGowan was once involved in the Las Vegas Posse ownership group? Don't know, and at this point, don't care. Just being honest. You're asking the wrong guy. Oh, my God. Here's one. I'm out for lunch on Monday. Ran into our longtime CFL fans will know this name. Ran into Steve Mazurk. All-star receiver, 6'5", number 70. He was all that in the 70s and 80s. He was our marketing guy with the football team 20 years ago. We took a photo together. We got along. We knocked heads at the time because we were competitive, but together we made beautiful music. All of us in that front office. And anyways, his one brother, Gary, turns to me and says, when are we getting our rings? I'll be honest, we were at a Boston Pizza. I thought he meant onion rings. I'm not even joking. I'm like, what, your ring? Rings? And he goes, yeah, for season ticket holders. We're supposed to be getting rings. I'm like, bro, you're asking the wrong guy. I have no idea when Saskatchewan Roughriders season ticket holders are supposed to be getting their replica rings. You're just asking the wrong guy. Was Bob McGowan part of the ownership group of the Las Vegas Posse? You're asking the wrong guy. I don't know what I know, but I don't know that. C. Lightning writes in, he says, help promote Rod's show on YouTube by hitting the thumbs up. Thank you, my dog. Yeah, for those that are watching on the streaming. John writes in, he says, bitching and moaning in sports. Nothing new there. Bunch of crybabies, if you ask me. Yes, but it's getting worse. Okay. Like I said, I'm at my own peril. I'm dipping into the comments here. Jason says, no, I said Cousins was upset about Crosby making contact, when in reality, it's probably impossible for Crosby to let up. He is just too intense. Whatever it is, I mean, I wasn't there, and from what I see, they don't really have cameras on the drills at training camp. Definitely not the team drills, the 11-on-11. That's an NFL thing. That's a pro football thing. As you are watching NFL Network and their inside training camp hits from along the sidelines, it's usually guys stretching or at the very least one-on-one drills, but they're not showing team stuff. So I almost wonder, you correct me if I'm wrong, has anybody seen the video of Crosby and Kirk Cousins getting at it and what caused it? Maybe Mike Richards, when he joins us next, will be able to address that, but that's a little bit of the media now. Ooh, they didn't get along. That's a good thing at this point of the season. Mike Richards coming up. It's brought to you by Prairie Panels. Are you building a shop, barn, rink, or commercial space? Prairie Panels provides high-quality insulated wall and roof panels designed for durability and energy efficiency. Yeah, you can build a hockey rink right in your house. Prairie Panels can do it. Look them up at prairiepanels.ca or call 306-985-0050. Mike Richards joins us next when the RP Show continues.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
RP Show continues. Silver State Sports, Game Plus streaming, WQVZ Radio. 20 minutes aren't enough with this guy. Mike Richards, when they say you're on the Mount Rushmore of Canadian sports talk hosts, does that make you feel honored or old?
Yeah. I hear nothing. Can you hear me? You can hear me?
No. Yeah, we got you. We got you. And you can't hear us?
Well, this is like being on a Japanese game show. I have no idea. I have no idea. I cannot hear the feed. Sorry. I think I can hear me.
I can hear you. Oh, we got the poll question up. We got the poll graphic. Can you read my lips?
I feel like
how is this always a thing? You let me know. Okay, I'm just going to talk. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Yes, Scott in Vancouver says, we can hear Mike. Exactly. I don't know what it it's very important that in today's day and age, we don't assign blame. This exact same thing happened yesterday when I was trying to get on with Richard Holdridge on WQVZ Radio. So it is what it is. Listen, you guys let me know when you're ready to go.
I'm just going to get out of this thing.
Now I have you. Now I don't. Oh, boy. Okay, here's my sports update. I've been waiting to say this all day. A's youngster Jacob Wilson completed his 111th consecutive game without an error on Sunday, the longest such streak by a shortstop in MLB history. The previous record was set in 2002 by Orioles shortstop Mike Bordick, who went 110 games and 544 chances without an error. You got me, Mike? You can hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. I have no idea what's happening, but that's my life. That's generally, I go through life. Yes.
Mine too. Okay, listen, I had a funny lined up, but we blew that. We had a funny lined up. I was putting it on the tee for you, and we blew it. So let's get right down to business. NFL training camp thoughts from what you're seeing. There's a smorgasbord out there. What are you putting on your plate?
Well, if I'm taking a look at how I see it for me, and again, this is so super early. I know people are like, here's the early predictions, and here's what's going to happen. And even at the best of times, I don't care if it's Schefter, I don't care who you're talking to. These are guesses. These are educated guesses. There's different words for research. If you're a gambler, it's called handicapping. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this. The one thing I would say that seems clear to me is that Seattle hasn't missed a beat. They're right back where they are. You hear the way they talk in camp, the feeling they have, and now I think they've got Price out of Notre Dame in the backfield, which will add to. They already have Kenneth Walker. They already have Charbonnet. Like they're absolutely loaded. I think when you look at what Sam Darnold did last year, no more ghosts, folks. He's not playing scared. His ability to get the ball out to Smith and Jigba, like they are absolutely ready to go. And here's the great thing about it: if you're a football fan, forget about whether you like the NFL, the CFL, NCAA, just football. I'm just talking football. Just not get our nuts in a knot here. The best thing last year, which was I could watch 16 games of this, is when the Rams and the Seahawks played each other. Let's just do that every week because that was fantastic stuff, Rod. Fantastic stuff. In a similar way, I can't believe I'm saying this, but how much are we enjoying the Elks and the Riders go head-to-head this year? It's got a similar feeling to it where it's like, let's get the guns out, let's just start firing away, and let's see what happens because game to game, you just don't quite know. That's the best part, and that's the part about football that I love, where it's like, okay, let's just shake it off, let's get out there and give it everything we got. And so when I look at how teams are aligned, I see that people are putting Buffalo in there. I'm like, okay, first of all, I really believe that probably that window with this group and the opportunity that they've had is slowly slipping away. At probably the worst time when Highmark just opens up. They got their brand new stadium. They got their brand new weird third occasion jerseys that look like they're going to rob a bank, or whoever came up with that idea. They've got new coordinators. They got a new coach. That's a lot of new, Rod. You've been around football a long time. Every time you start replacing something or somebody, especially when it comes to coordinators, I'd be really careful about how you see this thing playing out, because there are teams like probably the Ravens that I see people talking about what they see in camp. I'm like, okay, but we say the same thing about the Ravens every single year, and it's all based on their quarterback. And I just don't like teams that have such a shallow ability to win a football game, as opposed to, let's say, a team like Houston. CJ Stroud. And so they've got Montgomery, David Montgomery from the Lions out there. And I'm looking at Houston, and as much as at times they're a hard team to follow, sometimes it's personnel, sometimes it's the regression like CJ Stroud had in his second year, which I didn't necessarily see coming. But they're going to be an awfully good football team. Don't take it lightly. And are there surprise teams? I don't know. The Broncos will probably be there again, winning football games the way that their coach sees it, which is, if they win 10-7, Rod, then they win 10-7. If Bo Nix only throws for one touchdown, that's the way he's going to get it done. Bo apparently is healthy. I expect them to probably win the AFC West. But in terms of surprises, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I like Ward. But I think if I'm looking at Tennessee, because people don't really give them a whole bunch of a chance right now, I'm a little curious to see just what they can do, in the AFC. But other than that, training camp where they have the weirdness of the combined teams thing, which if you've been around the game a while, I think it's good that you're not already hammering on the same guy that has the same uniform that you have, dinner across from there. You got to keep, punching him in the face. It's nice to see another guy that you can punch in the face, but it is sort of a strange example of how we see sport in 2026, because quite frankly, it seems to be something that's made for Instagram. It's something that's made for Twitter, because every time, every time someone beats somebody by 5 yards, they're like, oh, from the Patriots camp, blah, 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 blowing, and I'm like, okay, look, guys, it's August the 11th. It's okay, but no, I'm excited for the season. I again, if I can see nice shootouts, which again tends to be what gets the ratings, and Lord knows, as opposed to when we were growing up, because the NFL gets ratings for all the right reasons. I'll be honest, for me growing up, it wasn't even close, which is why I almost exclusively only watched the CFL. I didn't watch the Bills. I didn't watch the NFL. I needed to see guys hand the ball off 3 times in a row for 3 hours. I didn't grow up that way. I'll be honest. It's like the NFL came much later because to me in the early days, I'll take the entertainment in the CFL anytime, especially back then.
It's still very entertaining. But Mike Richards, tech issues be damned. I'd wait all day for you with that. That was so good. And here's what I love about it. You didn't cover what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the Raiders, the Cowboys, and the Dolphins. You're looking at everything else. That's how you and I go together like peas and carrots.
Yeah.
But just before you got on the air, they were talking. I just said there's no video of the Max Crosby Kirk Cousins dust up. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
In 2026?
Yeah.
No video of it. What do you think of that?
Well, first of all, when you spend enough time around these camps, there's fights every day. Guys are getting each other's faces every day. I mean, that's good. I mean, it's kind of how these guys are wired. It's the cracking of the hard plastic. No matter if he's on your team or another team, it doesn't matter. Here's the thing I would say about the Raiders that I like. The fact that they're going to at least start with Kirk Cousins, the veteran guy who can figure stuff out, and if the offensive line isn't doing what they're supposed to, at least they're not sending the young guy out there, and Fernando Mendoza doesn't have to go out there and get attacked every second that he's on the field. You know, if you're going to punch someone up, maybe make it Kirk Cousins, I guess. But you know what? It's the right thing to do. Yeah, it's the way that we knew it to be, where, you know, the guy puts his baseball cap on backward, has a clipboard, and watches what the veteran guy does. I'm not hating this, and at least they're understanding, unlike a lot of teams in the last 10 years, because there's an expectation, Rod, as you know. I draft you in the first round. You're one of the top draft picks. You're playing. I don't care. I don't care what the progression is. We're putting the money in you. We're putting the franchise in your hands. And I've always thought it's very rare that you can come out of collegiate ball and just do that. The game is so hard. It's so fast. You have to have a football IQ that reads those defenses, who are the fastest and biggest things that you have ever seen in your entire life. I don't care who you played for in college. I don't care if you're Ohio State. I don't care if you're Alabama. I don't care if, you know, again, coming out of Indiana, you have never seen anything like you're going to see. So the fact that they're saying, okay, Kirk, you get in there, you do the best you can. Fernando, you just sit there, you just observe everything that he does, because to a degree, I know tons of people hate Kirk Cousins, but still, he's still a veteran who's thrown a lot of football, played for a lot of teams, understands a lot of looks. Just watch. And that's the one thing I think that I'm a little surprised at. I'm kind of impressed, because the Raiders very often don't do the right thing. In this case, they are.
That's the plan. Everybody stop for a sec. Everything is going according to plan, what Mike just said. Where guys make their money is what happens when things don't go according to plan. Kirk Cousins gets hurt, or you're 0-3, 0-4. What do we do then? From the audience, Utah Darren says, coaches love combined practices because the ones get to practice situational football, which may or may not come in a preseason game. Vancouver Eric says, I love this guy's takes. Mike, you should be in radio. What do you think? Have you ever considered it?
Well, I was hoping by today, knowing that this was coming up, that you'd sent me a message, that I'd be able to make an announcement. The one that I wanted to make, there's always someone slowing it down, and there is someone. But let me just tell my audience and those in Calgary that I will be back September the 5th, right for Labor Day, that I will be back on the in-Cal, bigger and better than before, with a whole bunch of other stuff that I haven't had in years. Now, I don't have the expensive gadgets that Rod does that you just saw there, but
sorry, I was excited. You got me. Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So we will, take a look at, quite frankly, the way that the strangulation of sports media in this country, which is just despicable and deplorable, on how they have treated sports radio and most of sports media in this country, because basically they just didn't know how to run it. They didn't know how to make money at it. It's embarrassing. But I will take the fact that a lot of these companies now are just leaving the cities and the provinces. I'm like, there could be some room here for somebody to pick up the pieces. So at one point, as people said, boy, that's got to be devastating for you. I'm like, no. In fact, it's quite the opposite. So that is coming. And you know what? When it does, I'll jump on. I don't care if it's in a couple of days or whenever it is. But when I get what I need to say, then just I'll message you. I'll come back on and I'll fill you in what's going on.
There you go, everybody. And for our U.S. viewers, you've all heard, because we've been talking about it for weeks, Calgary, Vancouver Sports Talk Radio, Rogers, the owners of just handed the keys back. We're out. We're done, is what Mike's saying. And Mike's saying he's bringing it back, not with Rogers, obviously, September the 5th. So congratulations. I didn't know any of that. I've heard the rumblings. I've heard the rumors. So, yeah, we'll bring that back. Vancouver, Eric says, Western Canada Sports Radio Station, please. Just hang on, everybody. I feel like Mike's teased enough. So we'll go from there. But as we're sitting here, listen. We have 6 more minutes, so we got to make it fast. It's your CFL take. We're in week 11. What's your CFL take?
Well, look, it's in any league when your quarterbacks go down, it's a little dangerous. I mean, it's thin. It's the hardest, and I'll say it again. It's the hardest position to play in any sport. I know people want to make arguments about other positions and other kinds of sport. I don't think there's anything like having to be a professional quarterback, and I don't care what league it is. It is just so difficult. So when you get a guy like Bo Levi Mitchell, who the entire season rests on your shoulders, and he goes down, it's a shame because it is literally just decimated football in Hamilton. And we've seen other circumstances, when Nathan Work has gone down. But the weird thing, I don't know about how you feel about this, because going back to him as an University of Ohio Bobcat, always such a huge fan, and really felt that he deserved a better shake when he went down to the NFL. Certainly when he tried out with the Jags, I thought there was, and again, people are going to talk about that preseason against Dallas, which was just unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
But there's something missing. I don't know what it is, because if I'm looking at Nathan Work right now in 2026. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something not right. He's not the same guy. Like if someone said, is he the best quarterback in the league? Clearly, no. The answer is no. And I'm a full believer in this guy. But look, I look at a Davis Alexander, and you just kind of wonder, does this guy ever really lose? Like, I mean, technically there's a loss up there, but I've never seen a guy like this. I mean, we've got some quarterback play, and I know Chad Kelly. People look at Chad Kelly and start talking about some of the interceptions and so on. Well, the amount of football that he's missed has been considerable. But if you talk to a guy like Jim Barker, and look, full transparency, he's a good friend of mine. I mean, I go down and I try to get to a lot of the CFL offices. I like to go inside the buildings. I like to talk to the coaches. Jim Barker talks about Chad Kelly in a way that is very similar to Doug Flutie. Very similar, which maybe outwardly I did not see, or that wasn't my connection necessarily. But the talent, and this is why when people were sitting there complaining about the Argos, who of course didn't have a home game because of the World Cup, don't sell them short either. Don't look past Toronto like somehow they're again, we talked about the Riders, we talked about the Elks, but you've got some awfully good football, and I think Toronto could be a real thorn in the side. Obviously the Red Blacks haven't won a game, and Hamilton, as it stands right now, would have to be out. But you've got teams in Montreal. That's a tough out. But I want to see how far the Argos can really go here. But, and I think Calgary's going to have a pretty good second half coming up here. They got a revenge game coming up, which will be interesting. So, you know what? Football in the CFL in the fall is going to be pretty good. And I realize, there are some rule changes. Apparently, people very upset. Someone said, oh, my God, they're going to start taking knees. No, not the knees. Guys, the game's okay. Don't worry about it. It's going to be just fine.
I've got the category of the bitchers. They were handing out free food at the Argo game on Thursday night. People were bitching. They didn't like the food. It wasn't free enough. There was a lineup. Can you believe there was a lineup for the free food? They're mad. I don't listen to the people, Mike. I don't listen to them. Oh, but you're spitting out hot takes like a Pez dispenser today, which I've got. That's what I was doing. I was writing them all down. You don't even know what they are, but you'll see them later on when they blow up your phone, when we tag you on all those. The Leafs are the third. Edmonton, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Winnipeg. Top 5 teams for FanDuel in Canada in the NHL. What do you think?
Well, again, I think Babs could do it in Edmonton. I know people don't want to hear it. I know it's probably not a popular take, but sometimes, and look, it only has to work for 1 year. They're not like Mike Babcock, like he's going to be there for the next 5 years. It might be 2. But does he have? I think Edmonton can get in. I think Look, this Montreal team, get used to seeing those uniforms for a very long time. I mean, what they have built and continue to build in Montreal. Montreal's in. Ottawa, I don't know. When you start making, even though I know there's a lot of Kachuk fans and so on. Yeah, I think, and I don't put Toronto in that category. I don't see Toronto making it. Vancouver's got a long way to go. So, if I'm looking at all the Canadian teams, if Montreal figures out with all the moving pieces that they have, because again, there's one point where the crowd was even saying, "Shoot the puck." Once they start doing that, Rod, this could be a team that we see maybe hoisting some silverware in June, and maybe it's more than once.
Yeah.
I think they're that good. They're that good.
They've been getting better every year. They're on the right trajectory. Exactly. Edmonton's got a new coach, new goalie, a lot of things. So, yeah. Okay, Mike, we look forward to the announcement. Thanks for coming on, brother. Appreciate you as always.
I'll be back soon. Thanks, brother. Always fantastic.
All right. The inimitable Mike Richards joining us from The Six. Oh, I got some hot takes of my own and a sports update and viewer takeover when the RP show continues right after this.
Ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band.
You know your man is working hard. He's worth the team.
Saturday, December 5th, Temple Garden Center. The Gene Simmons Band performing your favorite classic hits. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories with your little ones at Elmo's Got the Moves, the all-new Sesame Street live show coming to your neighborhood. Friday, December 4th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at SaskTix.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs guy through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right. As always, the breaks are just a momentary pause and a fantastic sports discussion. From the audience, Paul in Humboldt writes in. He says, my favorite hot take, Mike Richards is spitting out hot takes like a Pez dispenser. Yeah. John Ohm says, the two kings of sports radio, Rod Pedersen and Mike Richards. Wow, what a scene. You're realizing now why, and Rob from Las Vegas wrote in earlier, asked if I'm going on the road with my baseball team for game 2 of this playoff series Wednesday, because I only do home games. That's my deal. This was way back in hour 1. He asked that. You're seeing now why, and he understands. He's an executive. People that are, you're seeing what with the Mike Richards juggling, getting him on the air and the non, and Carter Beck of the Atlanta Braves has texted me when he can come on the air in the middle of the show. It's like, I'll just get through this show, then I'll get through game 1 tonight, and then tomorrow's show, and then I'll make a decision on if I'm going on the road tomorrow night. And they say us goalies are weird, but here's the thing. Us goalies stick together, and that's why I took a particular umbrage at Kelly Rudy, the Los Angeles Kings great, and New York Islanders great, for him being let go last week, because he's such a special guy. And we've actually sat down, because Scruffy mentioned this last hour. Kelly Rudy's been very open about his mental health struggles. These are not homicidal, suicidal problems that we have, but we get overwhelmed by things very easily. So Kelly's like, you know what I learned from Tony Robbins? Wildest thing. Break down the games into this little 5-minute segments. So don't worry about stopping the whole puck for 60 minutes. Oh, I know it probably sounds like crazy to a lot of people, but I was a goalie, same thing. And the people, some guys will sit you down and go, I bet you if you let in that first goal early in the game, you're screwed for the whole game. Yep. Just start over. 5-minute segments. So we break them down into little things. We're successful in little segments. They add up to big segments. And we have great Hall of Fame careers. I learned this long ago, and now we're passing it along to other people. That's how sports and life can be very similar, and it works great. And when you got good friends like that help each other, there ain't nothing better than that. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says by Friday morning we will know the 3 Western playoff teams. Oh, are you talking about the Western Canadian Baseball League? That's what I'm saying. My focus is on tonight, pretty much solely. 902-518-3033 is the text line. So because we're having issues getting Mike on the air, I started the sports update and then I didn't finish it. So I'll get into it now, 902-518-3033, in the time that we have left in this segment. It'll spill over into overtime because I do have some good stories there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to... A's youngster Jacob Wilson completed his 111th consecutive game without an error on Sunday, the longest such streak by a shortstop in MLB history. With the A's, their games air on this channel. The previous record was set in 2002 by Orioles shortstop Mike Bordick. Remember him? Diamondback star Corbin Carroll hit his 56th career triple on Saturday, passing Starling Marte and Mike Trout for the most among active players. Marte and Trout have both played well over 1,500 games. Carroll has played just 604, so it's actually stunning that he's done that. Every college football season brings tweaks and changes, and 2026 is no different. No, the playoff hasn't expanded to 16 or 24 teams yet. But the third season of the 12-team playoff will feature its third different format. This season, the winner of all 4 Power Conference championship games are guaranteed to make the field. Remember the hand-wringing a season ago that 5-loss Duke could deny the ACC a spot in the college football playoff with its conference championship game win? The Blue Devils would have made the field if this season's rules were in place. So, as I was saying yesterday, I was on the radio on the Richard Holdridge Show, the sports beat on WQVZ. He's coming on this show on Wednesday. He's like, are you ready for college football? What do you think about this, and this? I'm like, no, I'm trying to get through the baseball season. It's kind of what I'm doing. I got an eye pretty clearly on the CF. Can we just hold on a little bit? But no, it won't wait. I saw the question from Mike Davis of Silver State Sports here. What's more likely, the Las Vegas Raiders making the playoffs or the UNLV making the college football playoff? It actually got me thinking. This is what people are talking about. We'll get into that more with Richard Holdridge tomorrow when he joins us from WQVZ, the very same radio station which airs this show every day. I got a whole list of notes here that I haven't even gotten to, and we'll do that when we come back in overtime, plus your final comments on the day, 902-518-3033, Western Dodge text line. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs guy through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody. By the way, I was remiss in telling you the sports updates brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone. Shop Ultimate Fan Zone, your authentic MLB fan store for official jerseys, hats, T-shirts, hoodies, and more. Game day every day at UFC. Overtime brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes. Next Wednesday, we will be live in Calgary at Overtime Hockey Lanes. Colin Patterson, Stanley Cup champion, going to be with us live at Overtime Hockey Lanes. 10 a.m. Mountain with a Showtime live. Former Buffalo Sabre Calgary Flame. What more do you need to know? Overtime Hockey Lanes, where skill and fun collide. From the audience, where do I start here? We've covered everything, man. I'll say this again. I'm excited for a lot of you to meet Richard Holdridge. He's been on this show before, but he and I share airtime on WQVZ radio, and yesterday he was like, he caught me off guard. I see why, and that's rare, by the way. You spend 38 years in live broadcasting. You're used to talking on your feet, plus doing interventions for a living with meth addicts and crackheads. I'm pretty okay with it. But he was like, why do you think your show is so popular with the residents of West Central Georgia and Eastern Alabama? I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. He's like, because I think it's because you talk about everything. That we do. That we do. And then he brought up the college football. And I'm like, I wasn't ready for that. But I will. And by the way, I'm not whistling Dixie here. When we first went to air on WQEE in Noonan, Georgia, the hometown of Alan Jackson. Look it up. I started getting mail from Marietta, Georgia, and Prattville, Alabama. I'm like, what? And by the way, they're big CFL fans there. That was a big thing. Jeff the Stamps fan says, the BC Lions crowd is not as advertised. They are even tarping off sections in the lower bowl. Can everybody say it with me? You're a Stamps fan. You're not allowed to talk about other teams' crowds at all. On the Vegas Raiders, this came up a little earlier, and we kind of glossed over. I just want to explain something to you how things have changed. And I've been pretty good, obviously, at riding the wave, clearly, still on the air. But there was no video at all of the Kirk Cousins, Max Crosby spat. And I've been watching NFL Network around the clock. I'm on my phone. It's my job. I haven't seen any video of it. And this is just where things have changed. Where I went from where I came up in the business to where it is now. I've told you this before, but I'll say it again. You know, I would be filming things at practice, and they would basically, when I was covering pro football, and they would take me to the ground and, like, taser me. It will be going in my book. I very distinctly remember the PR guy saying, if you post that, you're dead. And I don't quite understand. It's like, you want us here, but you don't want us reporting on what we see. I don't think I can do that. But I also realize that's the way that it is now. So, because I cover Florida Panthers practice regularly, and you're just not allowed to report on what you see. But it reminds me of, I finally hit this point in my life, and the old-time viewers will know my dad, Stanley Cup champion with Dallas, Graham Tour, my dad's best friend, Hall of Fame. They're both Hall of Fame scouts. And they used to just be asked to come hang around. It's similar to me with the baseball team here. The coach is like, we need to get a message to Rod. We need Rod here at the team building event or the staff barbecue, the team award, all that. And I remember saying to my dad, I'm like, why are you being asked to be at this prospects camp? He's like, I don't know. They just told me to come and be around and wear my Stanley Cup, my rings, Memorial Cup. Graham Tour would be asked to come to these hockey camps, ID camps, they call them. And Graham would say, what do you want me to do? They're like, nothing, just be you. Graham would say, how do I do that? If you knew Graham, it makes a lot more sense. And now I just show up. Just show up and not do anything? I can't do that. I should maybe talk to a lot of my former radio managers because they were very, very good at doing that. Showing up and not doing anything. They should write a book. They should write a book on how to do that. Oh, my God. Jason says, you got to be sneakier at filming practices like Bill Bell. No, it's not. No, it's not, dude. This is where you need to trust me. I know you like to fool around with your podcast and things that you do. Why don't you go to a camp, a training camp practice, and try to film something and sneak it and post it? Why don't you go do that, and you let me know how you make out? Producer Corey says, that sounds like a great book title, frankly. If you post that, you're dead. Didn't feel too good at the time at all. Brent from the Bridge City. I caught part of Mr. Richards' interview. His thoughts about Rourke are spot on, in my opinion. Something isn't right there. Yeah. Well, we've covered it all today. I'm confident in that. 902-518-3033. Like I say, got through this. It's fun. Kirk in Toronto says, deep down, Mike Richards bleeds double blue. Actually, he doesn't. He bleeds black and gold. He's a Ticats fan. Sorry to break your heart. Wayne in BC says, what a great RP show today, Rod. I always enjoy Mike Richards' takes on sports. Oh, yeah. I enjoy those interviews, too, because I can literally, I thought, put my feet up. It's amazing that Mike's been in broadcasting for that long and is somewhat tech illiterate. Wouldn't you agree, producer Corey? Somewhat tech illiterate. I mean, I'm okay. He makes it up for it with his talent. Yes, there's absolutely. I know a few people like that. You may be listening to one. We can overlook all the bad stuff because you're good on the air. I actually used to get that quite a bit from management. Jim Hobson comes to mind. What did we learn about corner gas today? It's eerily accurate. Would you say annoyingly accurate? Scarily accurate? Anyways, Richard Holdridge tomorrow from the Sports Beat. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow.
That